Hello everybody, this is Dr. Osborne. So I just want to remind you that sugar not only feeds cancer, it'll actually make you dumb. So in a study that just came out, and it was reported by Scientific American, and what they did is they evaluated the short and the long-term glucose markers in 141 healthy, non-diabetic, non-demented seniors, meaning that the people that didn't have dementia. And they did memory tests and they used brain imaging to really assess and really look at how their brain was functioning. And they actually looked at the actual structure of a part of their brain called the hippocampus. So what did they find? They found that higher levels of on both glucose measures were actually associated with worse memory. I'm going to repeat that. Higher levels of sugar were associated with worse memory, as well as that it actually caused the part of the brain called the hippocampus to shrink. And it actually changed the actual structure of your brain. So the researchers also found that the structural changes, well, what they did is they partially accounted for some of this, a link between high glucose levels and your memory. So what does this mean to you? Is that if you want to live a long, healthy life and you want to remember your life, you got to cut out the sugar. So according to the study, what the author found was that to provide further, they found that to provide further evidence, I'm just trying to remember what I said, to provide further evidence that glucose might contribute to hippocampal atrophy. So these findings, what they do is they suggest even if you're not diabetic, even if you don't have cancer, even if you're not insulin resistant, about 80% of all Americans do fall into this category though, that sugar consumption can still really disrupt your memory. So if you're trying to remember what was on your to-do list, or when you're downstairs trying to remember what you were doing as you're going upstairs, look at your sugar intake. But long term, it can really contribute to the shrinking of your brain, which is a hallmark symptom of Alzheimer's disease. And your hippocampus is involved with the formation and the organization and the storage of your memories, okay? So what does this mean to you? Well, neurologist David Perlmutter, what he does is he insists that being very strict in limiting your consumption of sugar and non-vegetable carbs is one of the most, let me repeat that back to you, one of the most important steps that you can actually take to actually prevent Alzheimer's disease. Wow. So we know there's not a treatment for it, but what about if we could actually prevent it? And so this actually is one of the things that we even find with research from the Mayo Clinic, and they found that diets rich in carbohydrates, they're associated with an 89% increased risk of dementia. So we can prevent the Alzheimer's disease, and if you do the opposite, you get dementia. Meanwhile, when we have high-fat diets, they're also associated with a 44% reduced risk of dementia there. So think about most children today. They actually start their day with sugar, and no wonder why we have so many children who are ADD and ADHD, or their memory isn't really good there. I mean, almost every child, they literally begin their day with cereal full of sugar, and there's no nutrients in there to be able to feed their body, and then they drink it down with hormone-filled milk, and then they go to school and they might have some sodas during their school day, and then you might want to give them a treat because you really love them, and you give them a treat. So what should you feed your child every day for breakfast that would increase their memory, increase their concentration? Well, one of the things that we do in our family is we can look at having a morning smoothie full of healthy fats. Healthy fat is one of the things that your brain's made of. It's one of the most important nutrients that absolutely everyone has to have on a daily basis there. So what do? You just put 1 to 1.5 cups of coconut milk or almond milk, and maybe put 1 scoop of Max Greens into your Vitamix there. Maybe a handful of walnuts or almonds there. Maybe some macadamia nuts. Some of the things that you can also put in there is like a tablespoon of coconut oil, which will give a lot of good energy there. A tablespoon of chia seeds, some grass-fed whey protein, some frozen berries that are low glycemic, meaning they have very low sugar concentration in them, and stevia, maybe if you want some sweetness there. So just by doing that, you just increase your child's ability to focus, but you also gave them the ability to reduce their risk of Alzheimer's disease, dementia, and cancer. Because isn't that what it's all about? It's about the things that we do right now are not just for where our kids are now, but where they're going to be in 10, 20, 30 years from now. So what I'm going to ask you to do is make sure that if you have questions, just email me, doc@drtjosborne.com, doc@drtjosborne.com. But if you want more information, make sure you're at Nutrition 101, Monday, May 23rd. We're going to answer all these questions, and we're going to teach you how to meet Fat Sally. Have a great day.